Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to tell you how my day went. So first of all, I had a intern presentation in the morning, and initially I was a little bit nervous, but then I locked the fuck in because it's not that serious. In truth, when I was presenting, I think I did a fairly good job, communicated what I did, put a few jokes in there as well, and hopefully it delivered how I intended it to be delivered. I think after I finished my intern presentation, because I was the first one to go out of that session, I was thinking a lot about whether I did well, how people will perceive me based on how I presented. And initially, I was a little bit self conscious, thinking, did I beat around the bush a little bit too much? Did I not really get to the point of things? Was my messages unclear? Did my jokes not land? Am I chopped as fuck? Am I just a chud? But fortunately, all of these doubts about myself remained unsubstantiated because people went up to me afterwards and they said, I think your intern presentation was great. I think your communication and like presentation style like shows confidence, and I'm happy that it's being portrayed positively. Maybe I'm a little bit too critical of myself, and especially in yesterday's journal, I kept on saying that I felt as if I'm not able to articulate things properly. I think today was good evidence to show that's quite the contrary. I think I keep on forgetting that in terms of great orators, I can't think of specific examples. I don't know. Some people like Barack Obama, when they have a really refined speech and when it's something super impactful, I think you can sometimes forget that one. This is a whole spectrum. This is probably like on the higher end, and they're probably much more like better speakers as well. And there are people who like cannot even like bring themselves to like present in front of our audience. So I think as far as you are on the spectrum, you're you're more ahead than at least like population, which if gives you any solace or comfort is fine. Another thing as well is um, I low key forgot. Oh yeah. I think another thing as well is that you can't really, with also with like great speeches as well. A lot of it comes down to just having a really like refined like script to follow, especially when you're trying to talk on the fly. I think unless you're actually the go or you just have such mastery over what you're talking about, it's rarely gonna come out exactly how you want it because that's kind of the nature of like improv, like thinking on the spot. There's always going to be a bit of variability, and unless you're going to go through, the painstaking effort of meticulously deciding every single word, in which that case it basically becomes writing or performance, then I think you should be at least happy with the degree of quality you're able to bring, like on the fly without any preparation. Like right now, I don't have any notes at all, and I'd say I'm articulating fairly well. So that's everything in terms of speaking, and I think I'm also kind of over theorizing and thinking how important speech is in my day to day life. I think honestly, I'm fine at talking. I think it's just when I get nervous, obviously, I become a little worse at speaking. But when I'm in the zone, when I have confidence, it really is just a mindset thing. So much of it is just mindset. As long as I'm confident, I'm able to carry myself that way and communicate clearly. That's everything in terms of that. Some other fun things I did today. I had a very interesting conversation with my fellow interns. I think now nearing the end of our of our internship and then just finishing that presentation today, it does feel that things are coming to an end. And it's always good to think about what's the next step, what the next step is. And What I usually like to ask other people, what I asked today was, what do you think you're doing in the future? What's your like long term goal? And I think for others, I think for myself too, it's not clear. It's not really set in stone. There's a lot of ways and different career paths and many opportunities we could take. And I think sometimes I forget that I don't need to have everything figured out. That it's fine having a bit of uncertainty. Furthermore, um, that sometimes like overthinking these kinds of things is also not that productive as well. I might talk about this in kind of like another video journal since I don't think I'll be able to fully internalize and articulate this today, but it has something to do with the idea of how do you balance not giving a fuck and actually really giving a fuck? Because on one hand, if you give too much of a fuck, it really like leads to like a worse quality of life. An example of this is just when you care so much about, let's say in the case of this internship, I care so much about how I'm perceived or how well I'm doing or whether my team likes me that I'm just lost in the weeds of it all, and I don't actually have time to like enjoy myself or to really relish in the kind of learnings and progress I've made. At the same time as well, if I completely don't give a fuck, then I just don't do anything. I end up being a bum. And then that also leads to a bad outcome. So it's trying to balance what seems to be two ends of a spectrum where on one hand I am invested in something, and I do my best to get it done, but at the same time it's also I have this ensuring that I have this distance and understanding that even if I don't get what I want always, that I'm fine with the outcome. And maybe this is as simple as, just fucking platitudes, which are like, just do your best and distance yourself from things that are out of your control. And sometimes it may honestly just be that simple. Maybe I'm over theorizing things again. Maybe I just try my best in every scenario. And even if things don't turn out the way I wanted, I can be comforted in the fact that knowing that at least I tried. But I think the thing is, sometimes I don't think I've tried hard enough. Or maybe my expectations of myself are so high that even when I actually do try my best, I don't think I've actually done my best. And what does best really entail, right? Because I could push myself to like, I don't know, like unhealthy lengths to achieve a goal, and that's still, like, what is best? I guess I also talked to my parents about this, and obviously they care. They want the best for me. So, in their definition of best, and right now I'm kind of rambling. You can take whatever I say with a grain of salt. But for them, they said doing your best entails the best you can do, given your current circumstances, given your current experience, and also given the fact that you do your best within a sustainable means. Because even if you do your best, but it's at the cost of something great, whether it be your health, your relationships, or something else important to you, uh, then like what's really the point, right? The point of these goals, at least, is to be able to experience life as vividly as possible and to at least draw out some sort of learning or growth or enjoyment out of these like experiences in life. And then if you're actively detrimenting yourself just to achieve these like arbitrary goals, then what is the point of the goal? You have to kind of bring that into question. Again, this is some spiritual, lyrical, metaphysical kind of stuff. And I think maybe a decade looking back on these kinds of videos, I kind of think to myself, it wasn't that hard. The secrets of the universe were kind of like hidden in plain sight. And I feel like they probably are. That's what I'm feeling. But to really internalize that day by day, to theorize is fucking easy. But to actually really believe in that and to apply it day by day of just, I'll do my best and whatever happens, happens. It's fucking hard, okay? That's everything I have today. I think it's nice that I've gone back into the kind of swing of things with posting. Because might as well, right? Might as well. If you're listening here and you made it this far, which, according to statistics and the numbers I crunched, is very few of you, then thanks. Leave a comment or something. Leave a freaking smirking cat emoji. For the real jits out there, leave a smirking cat emoji. Anyways, talk to you guys later. Goodbye.